Silver is everywhere, yet almost invisible. It's hidden deep underground, locked inside dull gray rock. And yet, this unremarkable mineral has built empires, driven technological revolutions, and even been fought over in wars. So how does an ordinary lump of rock transform into one of humanity's most treasured materials? It starts with a treasure hunt. Somewhere beneath the earth, hidden in the rock, lies a fortune. But finding it is nothing like you think. Silver is scattered across the planet, but almost never in big, shiny nuggets. Instead, it hides deep inside minerals like galena, a heavy, dull rock made mostly of lead, with tiny flecks of silver trapped in its crystal structure. Sometimes it's mixed with gold, copper, or zinc, but rarely does it appear on its own. That means you can't just walk around and find it. Geologists search for clues in the land. Strange rock patterns, signs of old volcanoes, or places known to be rich in minerals. Some spots are famous for silver. Mexico has huge deposits in Zacatecas and Fresnillo. In the US, Nevada's Comstock lode produced so much silver in the 1800s, it changed the history of the West. Once they find a good spot, mining begins. If silver is close to the surface, they dig open pit mines, giant craters with roads spiraling down so huge trucks can carry the rock out. If it's deep underground, they dig tunnels and follow silver-rich veins through solid rock. These tunnels can be cramped and risky to work in, but the payoff can be huge. Some mines became legends. In Bolivia, the Potosi mine produced so much silver during Spanish rule that it fueled an empire. But it also earned a dark nickname, the mountain that eats men. But if you think finding silver is the hard part, wait until you see what comes next. You're holding a boulder. Somewhere inside the silver is smaller than a grain of sand. How do you get to it? The first step is brute force. Fresh ore from the mine is far too big and solid to work with. Huge crushers are brought in to break it apart. Jaw crushers squeeze rock between steel plates so hard they can split it in seconds. Cone crushers spin against the rock, grinding it down even smaller. But silver is stubborn. Even pebble-sized pieces aren't small enough. The silver is often trapped inside mineral grains, so tiny you can't even see them. The only way to set it free is to grind the rock into a fine powder. That's where ball mills take over. These massive drums are partly filled with heavy steel balls. As they spin, the balls tumble and smash the rock again and again, turning it into dust. It's noisy, slow, and heavy work. This powder is easier to mix with water and chemicals in the steps ahead. Now the rock may be crushed to dust, but the journey to silver is far from over. What happens next will take the hunt to a whole new level. It sounds impossible, but the next step in silver's journey is to make it float on air. Once the ore is ground into powder, it is mixed with water to form a thick slurry. This slurry is the stage for one of the cleverest tricks in metallurgy, flotation. Miners add special chemicals to the slurry. These chemicals make silver particles repel water, while waste rock particles still cling to it. Air is pumped into the slurry. Tiny bubbles form and attach themselves to the silver particles, carrying them to the surface. A frothy layer forms, rich in silver and other valuable minerals. Workers skim off this froth and dry it. What remains is called silver concentrate, far richer in silver than the raw ore we started with. This technique is so effective that it revolutionized mining in the early 20th century. Today, it's used worldwide not just for silver, but for copper, gold, and other metals. Now the silver is finally gathered in one place. But the real test is about to come next. It is now time for silver to meet fire. Smelting is one of humanity's oldest skills. Ancient civilizations learned that heating certain rocks in a hot enough fire caused shiny metal to drip out. The principle remains the same today, though our furnaces are far more advanced. The silver concentrate is placed in a furnace and heated to over 1000 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, the metals inside melt. Because different metals have different densities, they naturally separate. Even after smelting, silver is not perfectly pure. It still carries trace metals like copper, gold, and platinum. For everyday items, this may be fine. But for high-grade electronics, precision instruments, or investment bullion, even the tiniest impurity can cause problems. This is where electrolytic refining comes in. Electrolysis is a process that uses electricity to separate metals at the atomic level. It may sound high-tech, but the principle is similar to what you might have seen in a school science experiment, passing an electric current through a liquid to trigger a chemical change. In silver refining, an impure slab of silver is used as the anode. A thin sheet of pure silver acts as the cathode. Both are placed in a bath of silver nitrate solution. When electricity flows through the solution, silver atoms leave the anode, dissolve into the liquid, and then deposit themselves onto the cathode in pure form. Impurities behave differently. Metals like gold and platinum are too heavy to dissolve in the solution, so they drop to the bottom as a sludge known as anode slime. This slime is not thrown away. The silver is now flawless. But its journey isn't over. And what happens next will decide its final destiny. Freshly refined silver is too valuable to leave lying around as loose lumps. Instead, it is melted in large crucibles and poured into molds to form ingots. These bars can weigh anywhere from a few ounces to over 1,000 ounces. Ingots are the universal starting point for almost everything silver becomes. They are easy to transport, store, and remelt. Banks, investors, and governments often keep large silver bars in secure vaults as a hedge against economic uncertainty. From here, silver can be transformed in countless ways. Jewelry manufacturers might roll the bars into thin sheets or draw them into wires. Electronics makers may slice them into strips for contacts and connectors. Artists may cast them into sculptures or decorative pieces. One of the most interesting uses of fabricated silver is in solar panels. Silver paste is applied to photovoltaic cells to conduct electricity. Without silver, solar panels would lose efficiency and cost more to operate. Another critical use is in medical equipment. Silver is naturally antimicrobial, meaning it prevents the growth of bacteria. Hospitals use silver-coated instruments and wound dressings to reduce infection risks. Even something as small as your smartphone contains silver. Tiny amounts are used in circuit boards to ensure a fast and reliable electrical connection. Though each phone contains less than a gram, multiply that by billions of devices, and the demand is huge. But silver's uses go far beyond today's technology. Up next, we'll share some secrets that have shaped the world in ways few could imagine. For centuries, silver was the metal that could decide who ruled and who fell. Long before it was used in electronics, silver was currency. Ancient civilizations minted silver coins because it was rare enough to hold value but common enough to circulate widely. The Greek drachma, the Roman denarius, and the Spanish real were all made of silver. During the age of exploration, silver was one of the main prizes sought by European powers. Spanish galleons carried tons of it from the Americas to Europe. This flood of silver changed global trade and, in some cases, destabilized entire economies through inflation. In the 19th century, silver fever struck again during mining rushes in North America. The discovery of the Comstock lode in Nevada turned small frontier camps into bustling towns overnight. Miners came from around the world, hoping to strike it rich. While some did, many more went home empty-handed. Today, silver still has a role in finance. Investors buy silver bullion and coins as a hedge against inflation or as part of a diversified portfolio. While it no longer backs most currencies, it still carries the weight of history as a store of value. But silver's role in our lives is far from over, and what's next might surprise you more than its entire past. Your phone, your car, even your lights, none of them would work without silver. We often think of gold as the ultimate precious metal, but silver has some properties that gold cannot match. It is the most conductive metal on Earth, meaning it moves electricity better than copper or gold. This makes it indispensable for modern technology. Every smartphone, tablet, and laptop contains silver. The same goes for televisions, refrigerators, and cars. Even electric vehicles rely heavily on silver for battery connections and control systems. Green energy is also driving silver demand. Solar panels depend on it, and as countries push toward renewable energy, the need for silver will only grow. The same goes for electric vehicles, which require high-quality electrical connections to function safely and efficiently. Medical technology is another area where silver shines. From antimicrobial coatings on hospital doorknobs to silver-infused clothing for astronauts, its uses keep expanding. Even water purification systems use silver to kill bacteria and algae. But what silver faces next is unlike anything on Earth. It's hard to believe, but this metal is a silent passenger on almost every mission to space. When spacecraft leave Earth, they need materials that can handle extreme conditions. Temperatures swing from blistering heat to freezing cold in minutes. Electronics must work flawlessly. There is no repair shop in orbit. Silver's unmatched electrical conductivity makes it perfect for the job. It's used in wiring, solar arrays, and control systems on satellites, space stations, and deep space probes. The International Space Station uses silver in its water purification system to keep astronauts drinking water clean for months at a time. The system relies on silver ions to prevent bacteria from growing in tanks and pipes. Without silver, long-duration space missions would face serious health risks. Even the Apollo lunar modules that landed on the moon had silver-coated components to handle electrical loads and survive harsh lunar conditions. But silver's role in space isn't even its wildest contribution. What it does next has changed human vision in the most shocking way possible. If you've ever looked through an old family photo album, you probably didn't know that silver is what helped make those memories last. For more than a century, photography relied heavily on silver halides, compounds that react to light. In traditional film, these compounds formed the image when exposed to light and developed in a chemical bath. Silver halide crystals were so sensitive and reliable that no other material came close for image quality. The sharpness, depth, and archival stability of silver-based photography kept it dominant, even as color and digital methods evolved. Iconic moments, the moon landing, historic speeches, and everyday family portraits were all captured on silver-based film. Even today, fine art photographers often choose silver gelatin prints for their unmatched richness and tonal range. But that's not all silver is good for. What we're about to reveal next will literally shock you. Silver is now helping heal the human body. In hospitals, it is being used to save lives without ever entering the bloodstream. Silver has long been known for its antimicrobial properties. It doesn't just kill bacteria, it disrupts their ability to multiply, making infections less likely to spread. In modern medicine, silver nanoparticles are incorporated into wound dressings to help heal burns and surgical incisions. They create a barrier against infection while promoting tissue repair. Orthopedic implants and catheters are sometimes coated with silver to prevent biofilm, a stubborn layer of bacteria, from forming. Even sportswear brands have started weaving silver threads into fabrics to resist odor-causing bacteria. In developing countries, simple silver-coated water filters provide safe drinking water for communities far from modern infrastructure. But if silver can heal the human body, wait until you see where we're about to find it next. The world's richest silver mine might be under your feet right now. Long before we ever called it urban mining, silver was something people thought only came from deep underground. But today, some of the richest silver sources aren't hidden in remote mountains. They're sitting in our homes, offices, and landfills. Discarded electronics, old solar panels, medical equipment, and even outdated photography materials contain silver. This so-called urban ore is becoming a critical source of supply. Recovering silver from these sources is challenging but often cheaper and more environmentally friendly than traditional mining. Specialized recycling plants use shredders, magnets, and chemical baths to extract precious metals from complex devices. Japan has embraced urban mining so effectively that it sourced metals for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic medals from recycled electronics. Similar projects are underway in Europe and North America, where old smartphones and circuit boards are being treated as valuable resources rather than waste. Now, recycling silver is clever, yes, but the next part of its story takes a dark turn you won't believe. This truth is, silver hides a dirty secret the Earth can't wash away. Mining silver can disrupt ecosystems, contaminate water sources, and create toxic waste. Tailings, the leftover rock and slurry after silver is extracted, often contain harmful chemicals like cyanide or heavy metals. In some regions, poorly managed mines have poisoned rivers, destroyed farmland, and displaced communities. These environmental impacts have sparked protests and stricter regulations in countries like Peru and Argentina. To combat this, some companies are investing in cleaner extraction methods, such as using biodegradable chemicals for flotation or improving waste treatment systems. Others are focusing on recycling to reduce the need for new mining altogether. Environmental battles are one thing, but nothing so far compares to what's coming next. Did you know that some of the world's greatest silver discoveries didn't come from mines, but from the ground beneath old civilizations? Archaeologists have uncovered Viking silver hoards buried for over 1,000 years. These treasures often contain coins, jewelry, and ingots, hinting at the vast trade networks of the time. One of the most famous finds is the Queerdale Hoard in England, discovered in 1840. It contained over 8,600 items, including coins from as far away as the Middle East. Such finds aren't just about wealth. They reveal how silver moved across continents long before modern banking and shipping. Each coin and ornament tells a story of alliances, conquests, and cultural exchange. Now, ancient treasure is pretty wild, but the scheme you're about to hear makes that look tame. Silver once became the center of one of the biggest financial stunts the world had ever seen. We're talking about the Hunt brothers' attempt to corner the silver market in the late 1970s. Wealthy Texas oil heirs, Nelson Bunker Hunt and William Herbert Hunt, began buying massive amounts of silver, driving prices from around $6 an ounce to nearly $50. The frenzy attracted speculators and created panic in the financial markets. But when regulations tightened and prices crashed, the hunts lost billions. The event, known as Silver Thursday, remains one of the biggest market manipulation scandals in history. But if that sounds dramatic, just wait, because silver's future could be even wilder than its past. We may be on the verge of the biggest silver boom in human history. This is due to the fact that, as green energy expands, so does the need for silver. Solar panels, electric vehicles, and 5G infrastructure all depend on it. But global silver mine production has been falling in recent years, and high-grade deposits are harder to find. This combination, rising demand and shrinking supply, could create shortages. Analysts warn that if production can't keep pace, silver prices may soar. Some even compare it to oil, calling it the energy metal of the future. Now that you know everything about silver, tell us, what's the first thing around you right now that might have silver in it?